Good evening and welcome back to another video. I'm Dennise, but you can call me Miss Fox, and this is part 2 of our DevLog series. If you haven't seen part 1, I'll leave a little card up above so you guys can go watch it and get a whole vibe about what we're doing here. Great, now that you're all caught up, I'd just like to thank you all for leaving some very nice comments on the last DevLog video. Also, something of note, why hello Alex Forsyth, voice of Mohammed in the Outliners. Right, I didn't know if I mentioned that last time. This is all fully voice acted, but we have a wonderful cast of voice actors. Let me introduce them real quick. Voicing Noir, we have Isaac Crane.
Okay, calm down. It's nice to see you, too.
Jackie doesn't get a voice actor because she doesn't speak. Voicing Mohammed will be, of course, Alex Forsyth, as mentioned before.
Time as a concept is null in purgatory.
We have the Blue Troll King voicing Sai.
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
Iris doesn't get a voice actress because she doesn't speak, she barks. And we have our 2 extras who voice a variety of characters, so I'll just show off the ones that are probably the most notable. So we have Micah Bunch with Spencer Specter.
I may know something. Depends on who's asking.
And Natalie Moudet with Diana.
Whoa there, Pipsqueak. You and your friends are very nice and all.
In fact, any new characters that show off in this video are voiced by one of these 2. Besides one, but we'll get to him later. Speaking of new characters, let's go over their designs and see how they've changed. Starting with the least change visually, we have Spencer Specter. He was designed right before the visual overhaul, so we gave him some extra shading and did a bit of adjusting to a few details and called it a day. Story-wise, he's just a warrior who fights to stay alive because he does kind of have a lot of people after him, for reasons I'll let get explained in the actual episode. Next up we have Diana, who actually has 3 designs. The first one was a pretty impromptu drawing, as it was one of the first ones I ever did for the Outliners. The second one was just a slight visual update because she needed it, but had no actual design changes because people really seemed to like her design, even if I didn't. And the current design, which I'm very happy with, where I gave her pants, a decent shirt, I put her hair up, made her jacket an actual material, and gave her some nice boots. Story-wise, she's a demon who moved to Purgatory pretty early on in life. Now she holds down multiple jobs, or at least does her best to, just to make it by. Next up we have Stem, but for a bit of context, he didn't originate with the Outliners. He originated with an older series that I wrote for, which gives him a whopping 4 designs to go over. So let's start with the earliest. This was him when he was very young, and it pretty much plays nothing into his current story. Then we have his second earliest design, which does play a little bit into his story, as it looks a little bit more like his canon design, but it just looked super edgy for no reason. And now comes his almost current design, where he dons the outliner style. I aged him up a little bit, as that plays into his character and story quite well, as this takes place a couple years after the story that took place after his secondary design. And now we have current Stem. I'm actually really happy with this one. He looks like an old man. I, of course, gave him an actual shirt, pants, and legs, of course, and just made his design overall more cohesive. The old design looked spiky without purpose in my opinion, but now it actually has a purpose as it's the style of the show. Moving on to a character with a lot less designs to go over, we have Deni, or Deni as she's known as in the story. Deni was one of the characters that I designed pretty early on in the story, so like Diana, she had pretty much no cohesion to her. She looked pretty young, she had no place in the story, but with her current design, I aged her up a bit to make her look like an actual adult, gave her an outfit that I do like a lot more, but I think we might reuse that other outfit later for story reasons. and just made her generally more appealing and in style. Story-wise, when she was very young, her older brother went missing and she was left alone in purgatory, so she devoted her life to figuring out what makes it tick. Experimenting, researching, and the like. She's technically a certified scientist, however that works. Now jumping back up to a character with 3 designs, we have the Harbinger Hound. A character with very clear inspiration just based off the name. Now, if you look closely, you can see that's just a fuzzball. So I thought we could improve. Heck, I even made a whole sheet for it. Like, it was a concept sheet. I'll show it off here. So, in our next design, we have basically what it looks like now, but in the old style with less color. So let's move on to the current design. And yeah, I like it a lot more, making the fire more rigid and yet more flowy, giving it a lot more shading and giving it a few cuffs on the arms, which just kind of makes it look better in my opinion. It went from one of my least favorite designs to one of my favorites. Story-wise, it's actually a pretty common animal in Purgatory, though the one I show off belongs to Diana. The Trinity, though, being Harbinger Hound, Purgatory Pups, and Righteous Retrievers. Now, Righteous Retrievers haven't fully been visually designed. They probably won't be finished until the devlogs for episode 2 are done. Now, fun fact. While the Righteous Retrievers and Harbinger Hounds run around and are very common animals in Purgatory and in the other realms, Muhammad is the only Purgatory pup that currently exists. Though it is said that they used to run amok like the Righteous Retrievers and the Harbinger Hounds before them. Where'd they go? What happened to them? And finally, we have a character that has no previous designs, just the current one. Grimly Reaper. He wears his inspiration on his sleeve. He's the Grim Reaper. Generally, in pop culture, the Grim Reaper has a cloak and a scythe that he's always known for, but I thought I'd twist that in a way and give him a type of bartender suit, and instead make his tail a weapon that, when used properly, looks like a scythe, can be used like a scythe. Which is why he has a little bit of something on his, tooth. Story-wise, he's a capitalist. He's a CEO. He cares about profit, and he cares about branding, I guess. He is known for not letting a single discrepancy fall through the cracks. He's known for wanting utmost perfection, which does in fact play into the story of Rogue Reaper, and I hope you guys are excited for that. And that's it for extra characters we have in the episode 1 of the Outliners. Now, we do have one more thing to talk about, that being the character portraits. So far we only have Noirs done, which this is what these look like, and we have 3 separate poses for them. Basically, what we do with these poses is we add different arm movements and eye movements and just different expressions, and sometimes we even move the neck a little bit, so that we can gauge different forms of expression with just a few poses. That's kind of all we have to show off for today, but there is one more thing I want to mention. A lot of the stuff we have left to do is the character portraits, and that's not exactly invigorating to go over. So I implore you, ask questions in the comments about characters, lore, designs, pretty much whatever you want, and don't limit yourself to just one. Ask as many as you'd like. I look forward to answering all your questions in the videos. Well, that's all for today. Thanks again for all the lovely comments. Rest well.